Dr. Wood, author of the book Miracles in Minutes. The title of this video is Fear and Pride. It's how you destroy your life. It's so funny that the Bible's whole message is about those two constructs. You know, there's 365 fear nots, and the Bible says pride comes right before your downfall when you think too highly of yourself. So fear, I heard one person say that to have love, you have to overcome your fear. And to stay in love, you have to overcome your pride, give up your ego. So, what's the cost of fear? The cost is it stops you from doing the things that you always wanted to try. And what's the fear of? Usually the fear is being rejected, the fear of looking awkward, looking stupid, of being humiliated, being turned down, being told no, or the fear of just looking silly. So then what we do is when we get hurt, that we typically then go into a pride cycle. And pride is one form of suppressing human emotion, which is when you're hurt, then you tell yourself you're not hurt and puff yourself up and suppress, deny, rationalize, and justify your feelings and ignore your true feelings. If you're hurt, you're hurt. If you're sad, you're sad. If you're upset, you're upset. To suppress them with a pride face, you know, put on your mask like I'm okay, everything's fine, and hide under the veneer of a fake smile is not healthy emotionally, and it's not healthy physically. At some point in time, those suppressed emotions are in your system somewhere, and it will come out. It will come out in a disease. It will come out in back pain, headaches, knee pain, something. Because you can't hold those feelings inside and deny them. Denial is a form of lying, which says I'm not feeling what I'm feeling. What you're feeling is what you're feeling. And what we're afraid of is sometimes our own feelings. So to deal with our feelings, you know, we were taught in childhood to, you know, I'll give you something to cry about. And, you know, there's a time to cry and there's a time to quit crying. And finding that mark is kind of unique and difficult. So when you look at being authentic, you know, you have to deal with these two things. If you don't, you're going to ruin your life. Because if you have, you know, afraid of getting rejected or afraid of getting hurt or something like that, it's going to show up in your relationships too. You cannot have love and fear at the same time. The two do not live in the same house. They do not. When someone's afraid, they're going to have up walls. They're going to be defensive, or they could be aggressive. And their aggression could be accusations, insinuations, attacks. And then the other person has to kind of defend themselves because they're being attacked all the time. This is the problem in life. And what we're not dealing with is we're not dealing with our feelings, we're not dealing with our emotions, and we're not dealing with our fears, and we're not dealing with our pride. And in doing so, we just kind of move on to the next relationship or keep going in life and continue to deny, suppress. And next thing you know, it's near the end of your life, and you know, maybe you were mad at your brother or, you know, your parent, and you were pissed off, and you were more concerned about being right than having love in your life. You really need to question your values of what is important in life. Life is short, it's fleeting. Do you want to spend the rest of your life living in fear? You'll get sick. It'll ruin your relationships. Do you want to spend the rest of your life holding on to self-righteousness and being right, and that you're right and someone else is wrong? Okay. You know, I'm not saying that people haven't ever wronged you. I'm not saying someone didn't do something that was bad to you. But you got to ask the question, you know, how long are you going to carry that around, that hurt, that wound? Because it will show up in a relationship somewhere, and it does affect your thinking, and it does affect your behaviors, and you wind up being pretensive, and you never have contentment in your life. Contentment, you're just okay being here, you're okay with life as it is and is not. So the question is, how do you deal with these things? And here's the thing. No one taught us how. Everyone in this country is conflict avoidant, and the conflict that we're talking about here is within yourself. You're avoiding your own conflict. Everybody wants peace in the world. The question is, do you have peace within your own mind? Are you at peace within your own body? Are you at peace within your own spirit? If you don't have peace in your own body, in your own mind, there's a war going on inside you, and it's going to show up on the outside, because it's called projection. And all humans project. You project what's in your heart. So what do you do about this? Well, you can look in the mirror and say, you know what I'm feeling is what I'm feeling, and finally feel it. If it's sadness, feel the sadness. If it's hurt, feel the hurt. And then, you can write a letter. You could write it on paper. You can confess it to God, if that's what works for you. The Bible has a way of dealing with this, and here's what it says. It's you confess it to yourself and you confess it to God, and then for it to become complete is that you need a safe person, a person who loves you, who doesn't judge you, who's there for you, and who just wants the best for you. If you don't have a person like that in your life, look around. There's probably one somewhere that you haven't seen or recognized yet. And if you have that person, that's the good person to confess to. Or it could be the person who did the harm to you. Don't make them wrong. You just say, this is what I think, and this is what I feel, and this is what I felt, and this is how I feel about you, or how I felt about you. And if you're angry with them, you're angry with them. That's just what it is. And so there's different ways of confession, because if you don't express it in a healthy way, see, all feelings have to be expressed. To suppress them causes issues in our lives. Pride is denying that you have the feelings and pretending that you're okay when you're not. It is not authentic. You're not being true to yourself, and you're not being honest with yourself. You're being dishonest with you. If you have a pride cycle too of I'm right, they're wrong, you're standing in judgment of another human being. Not to say that you can't sometimes, because you need to. I'm not saying be foolish or be naive. You don't want to, close your eyes with a thief in the room. You're just encouraging them to steal from you, and then you can't be upset with them stealing, because that's being naive. But a thief's a thief, and until they change their behaviors. And sometimes, it could happen in with a confession to them, or being honest with them, and maybe they'll change, maybe they won't. It's not up to you, that's up to them. But the seed of truth, spoken in love, goes a long way into the human existence. I can tell you a lot of people that I have talked to in my office, they may not have liked what I had to say, but I said what was the truth, and I spoke it in love, which is for their highest good. Some people get pissed off at me, and that's fine. However, when the truth comes into another human, the truth, not your bullshit, not what you call your truth. The truth is the truth is the truth, and not your perceptual bias, but when you speak the truth, and it lands on someone. Some of the talks that I've had here, it probably goes like this. If you listened, it'll get in your head and you don't know what I'm talking about. And then time goes by, and that seed that I've put out there into the world is floating through your head and floating through your head. And as you try to wrestle with the truth, you won't break it. It'll break you. And it's like a double-edged sword. It'll cut you on both sides, and it cuts away the bullshit, and then the light comes on and you have the epiphany. So it's Dr. Wood, and how to deal with fear and pride, and how to learn about confession, and how to deal with your emotions. So I hope this helps you.